Do you see how it looks to some people that there's one rule for you in terms of being able to claim this stuff that other people
Do you see how it appears to some people that there's one rule for you when it comes to claiming privileges that others simply don't get? Keir Starmer has been under the spotlight ever since the investigations into his luxury scandal began. But what's truly bewildering the British public are the odd rumors swirling about him and his family. Something he surprisingly admitted to himself. Starmer, ever since winning the July 2024 elections, has been embroiled in one controversy after another. His victory over the Conservatives after their 14-year rule has not been without its hurdles. This morning, Britain has a new Prime Minister. Keir Starmer's Progressive Labour Party emerged victorious in last night's election in a landslide. But Starmer's moment of triumph was short-lived, quickly overshadowed by the fallout from a series of questionable actions, both before and after his election. The first major shockwave came with the announcement of significant tax hikes to fill a staggering £22 billion gap in this year's budget. But for many who rely on government assistance, the cuts were felt hardest. The problem is, many are saying, that within weeks of his administration, Starmer and his team handed out a 22% raise to junior doctors and a 15% raise to train drivers. All of this while slashing fuel aid for pensioners, saving only £1.3 billion, a mere drop in the ocean compared to the £11 billion spent on these wage increases. Who's running the country's finances? And who's going to remind Starmer that his £22 billion hole won't be patched by freezing pensioners out of winter warmth? It's all about optics, and quite frankly, the optics are terrible. Starmer's government is handing out massive raises to certain groups while leaving others, like pensioners, out in the cold. What about train drivers? Are we really saying they deserve to be paid £81,000 a year for a 4-day workweek? Labour appears to be out of touch with reality, or perhaps playing favorites, granting political favors to select groups. And speaking of favoritism, who can ignore the string of perks and donations that Starmer and his family have been receiving? The lavish lifestyle doesn't stop at pay raises for public sector workers. It extends to Starmer himself. Reports indicate that Starmer has been seen sporting luxury suits valued at an eye-popping £32,000 and glasses priced at £2,485. How can he reconcile cutting fuel payments to pensioners while he wears such extravagant clothing? It's not a good look, especially when the people who voted for him believed in his promise to level the playing field. I think of all the people who voted for this government, Starmer has said, but can he really justify the growing divide between his rhetoric and his actions? As uncontrolled protests erupt, inflation rises, tax hikes hit harder, and illegal immigration worsens, many feel the change Starmer promised is leading the country in the wrong direction. Starmer didn't stop with designer suits and fancy eyewear. He also snagged luxury football and concert tickets. But the most jaw-dropping revelation came when he confessed to staying in a lavish penthouse in Covent Garden with his family, worth £2,437 a night. The justification, he claimed it was for his son's education during the election period, saying, "We wanted a place where my son could study without distraction." Is that not a luxury every child in the UK should have access to, if that's the reasoning? We're all in this together, Starmer claimed in one of his speeches. But how can the British public believe that when it looks like the Prime Minister is receiving privileges that others could never dream of? This isn't the change voters expected when they cast their ballots for Keir Starmer. What he promised was a fairer society. What they got was an economic divide, with the lower classes shouldering the burden of massive taxes, while Starmer enjoys a lavish lifestyle. Starmer entered Downing Street with a pledge to bring change. Instead, he's now known as the king of the freebies. He has accepted free clothes, free tickets, and much more. And if you thought that was the extent of it, think again. Since 2019, Starmer has received a total of £70,145 in gifts, the largest amount of any MP. A whopping £40,000 came from a single donor, Lord Wahed Ali. This included £16,200 for work clothing, £3,485 for multiple pairs of glasses, and over £12,000 from the Football Association Premier League Limited, £4,000 of which went towards VIP tickets for Taylor Swift's concert at Wembley. With scandal after scandal piling up, Starmer is feeling the pressure. His behavior has not only angered the public, but also drawn the ire of politicians across the spectrum. "I have no donors paying for my suits," Starmer declared in a recent interview, trying to distance himself from the controversies. "This is a shared struggle," he said, yet his actions speak louder than his words. Even former Prime Minister Boris Johnson weighed in on the matter, calling Starmer greedy for his penchant for freebies. "It looks greedy, doesn't it?" Johnson remarked. "When you're already earning a good salary and you're accepting gifts worth tens of thousands of pounds, it just doesn't sit right." Starmer now tops the charts as the MP who has accepted the most freebies, more than twice as much as the second highest recipient. This isn't just an isolated scandal. The investigation has revealed that several other Labour MPs have also been implicated, with donations and freebie scandals rocking the party. Some of the biggest names involved include Chancellor Rachel Reeves, Health Secretary Wes Streeting, and Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson, all of whom were gifted Taylor Swift concert tickets, contributing to a staggering total of £17,102 in freebies. Even Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has come under fire after being seen clubbing in Ibiza, where entry costs €200 and drinks range between €20 and €30, while Labour is overseeing sweeping cuts to pensioners' fuel payments back in the UK. With mounting pressure and scandal after scandal emerging, Starmer's Labour Party is in deep trouble. The bombshell revelations about the freebies and lavish gifts are shattering Starmer's image and damaging the government's credibility beyond repair. If Starmer doesn't address these issues soon, his time in office might be cut much shorter than anyone expected. Starmer's fate now hangs in the balance. Can he recover from this barrage of scandals, or will his time in office be overshadowed by accusations of hypocrisy and elitism? His leadership is being tested in the harshest way possible, and the outcome remains uncertain. If he can't put these scandals behind him and prove that he's truly committed to the people he claims to represent, his time at the top could come to an abrupt and unceremonious end. The story of Keir Starmer's freebies isn't just a political drama. It's a reflection of the growing divide between the ruling class and the people they serve. Whether Starmer can bridge that gap will determine not only his future, but also the future of the Labour Party in the UK's political landscape. What you think about it, please tell us about your thoughts in comments below and subscribe our channel for more videos. Thanks for watching, take care and goodbye. We'll see you in next video.